Yes, people, this is your girl Aleisha Lee, and welcome back to another episode of Motivational Lee. On this week's episode, we are going to be talking about the Law of Polarity. But before we get into that, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you are kept up to date each and every time I upload. But without further ado, let's get into this. Yes, people, don't forget to check out all of the new music and video content on this channel. The Tempo EP is out now. Hit the link in the description box below to check out the music, rhythms for days. Without further ado, let's get back into this video. The Law of Polarity explains that with life, everything has an opposite. For instance, where there is love, there is hate. Where there is good, then there's evil. Where there is hot, then there is cold. And it's actually understanding that these things are all on the same spectrum, just at different ends. But like I said, they're all on the same spectrum. How this can apply to your life, it's about looking at things from a certain way. It's about learning lessons from these things. With the Law of Polarity, this law states that everything has its opposite. It's yin and it's yang. So imagine you've got a long line. On one end, it's cold. On the other end, it's hot. But both of these things, dependent on your perspective, can be seen as good. For example, if you are in a hot country, it would be fantastic to get some air conditioning, which is on the opposite spectrum, cold. So if you're really hot, you're going to look for what's on the opposite side of it to balance things out. So that would be some cold. You're going to look for some air conditioning. Just as if it was the other way around. You were in a really cold country, you might be looking for a heater to warm yourself up. So this is just an example of the opposite ends, but how they're both on the same spectrum, just depending on where you are is what you would need. Now, the Law of Polarity, how to apply this to your daily life is by thinking about the exact same thing. If you are in a situation that is really getting you down, what is the opposite of that situation? What are the things you would need to do to make sure that you're on the opposite end of how you're feeling? Just like if you were really in a state of so much excitement to the point that it might be dangerous to you and others, what would you do to lower that excitement, just to bring you down to a more neutral ground? What are the steps that you would need to take? It's all about polarity, and it helps you to learn lessons and gives you a different perspective on things depending on what end of the spectrum you are on. But it's understanding that both are necessary. That's where the Law of Polarity comes in. You knowing and understanding when and where to be on what side of that spectrum, dependent on the situation that you're in. So I hope that gives you more clarity. I hope that gives you a bit more insight into the Law of Polarity and where the scale is important. The scale are just different points of perspective, and by knowing and understanding the Law of Polarity, you can understand where you need to be and what things you need to apply to certain situations. So it's all about knowing when to apply this law and understanding that it's all a part of the same spectrum. It's just going to be on different ends. And also you can have times where you have to apply different ends of that spectrum to your daily life. You need to understand where you need to be a bit more assertive and when you need to be a bit more fun and free. It applies in different situations, because you'll find that if you're in a situation where you need to be assertive and you're just being fun and free, you're not going to get the results you want. Just like in reverse, if you are being very serious but this situation requires the more fun and enjoyable side of you, the same. So you need to understand that that is the Law of Polarity and where and when to use it. But yes, people, I hope that has given you a bit more insight into the Law of Polarity, how we can use this and how it applies to our daily lives and how you can go about and use it. Have you ever been in a situation where you've had to apply the Law of Polarity? It may have been that you were in a situation before, you tried to do things in a certain way and realized that it wasn't working for you. And as soon as you went to the other end of the spectrum and applied those types of things, that's when you saw results. Let us know in the comments below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share with your people them, and have a blessed week. But yes, people, I will catch you in my next video. Done. Bye.